Okay, lesson 1, we looked at solving and writing inequalities, one-step inequalities using addition and subtraction. Lesson 2 is very similar. We're still working with one-step inequalities, but this time you can see that we'll be working with multiplication and division. And there's one added step with multiplication and division that you have to watch out for, and that's right here. So when you are dividing or multiplying by a negative number, you must switch the sign. Okay, and so here we'll put switch the sign of the inequality. My first year teaching, some students took that to mean they needed to switch the positive and negative sign, but no, that's not what we're meaning by that. We want to switch the inequality, meaning that greater than would become less than, or less than would become greater than. Okay? So, let's see, example 1. Example 1, again, this is I can statement number 3, solve and graph one-step inequalities using multiplication or division. And so here we have negative 6 times x is less than or equal to 18. So in order to solve for x, just like an equation, we would divide by negative 6. And since we are dividing by a negative number, we are simply going to take the inequality sign, less than or equal to, and turn it into greater than or equal to. And then 18 divided by negative 6 is negative 3. And of course, just like in lesson 1, we need to graph these, and so here we have 1, 2, negative 3, and I want greater than or equal to, so I fill in the dot, and I move it to the right. Alright, here for part B, we've got x divided by negative 3, so I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 3. That is the inverse operation. And again, because I'm multiplied by a negative number, I'm going to switch the sign. Greater than becomes less than, and negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. And so again, graphing it, say 0, here's go by 2's, 2, 4, 6, less than, this one's going to be an open dot, less than goes to the left. And again, you can see, in order to make this work out, make the solutions for this original one, we do wind up having to switch the sign. So, take the simplest number, 0. 0 should be a solution. 0 divided by negative 3 is 0, and 0 is greater than negative 2. As opposed to, say, 9, which you can see here is not a solution. 9 divided by negative 3 would be negative 3, and negative 3 is not greater than negative 2. Okay, last one here. We're going to divide both sides by 5. Now, some students get the impression that every time we multiply or divide, we switch the sign, and that's just not the case. Especially here, when we have already got a negative number, what we're dividing by is actually positive. And so this time the sign stays the same, greater than, even though the sign of my number changes. Okay, so there's the first part, the basics, solving one-step inequalities using multiplication and division. And the last slide here, write an inequality and solve and graph. So this ties us back to some of the stuff that we did earlier in the quarter. It was challenging for many of you, but hopefully this time around you'll be able to pick it up if you struggled the first time. So I can statement number 4 is right here. Solve and graph, or write one-step inequalities. So here it says the quotient of x and 12. Quotient means divide. So the quotient of x and 12, remember, is greater than or equal to. Okay, when you see the is, that's the cue that it's going to be your greater than or less than symbol, not subtraction or addition. So this is greater than or equal to negative 1/4. Okay? All right, well, first thing, once we've written it, we need to solve it. The opposite of division is multiplication. So I multiply both sides by 12. And now I wind up with x. Because I'm multiplying by a positive, I'm going to keep the inequality sign the same. And then 1/4 of 12 is 3. So negative 1/4 of 12 would be negative 3. There's my solution. And then graph it. And so here we will just say here's 0, 1, 2, 3. And greater than or equal to, so it's a filled in dot, greater than goes to the right. Okay, that's it for lesson 2, writing, solving, and graphing linear inequalities, one step using addition or multiplication or division.